years, and I appreciate that. Because we are ahead of schedule just slightly, we're going to expand the time from 90 seconds to 2 minutes if they would like to use that time. And so we're going to begin. We'll begin with Mr. Gibney with the first question. If we can quiet down the room, that would be great. The first question, please introduce yourself and share your current perspective on the state of the city, as well as your vision for the future of the city of Rancho Cucamonga. Mr. Gibney.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the Chamber for hosting this event tonight and for everybody that turned out to listen. My name is Mark Gibney. I'm running for mayor of Rancho Cucamonga. I've lived here since 1979. I've been married to my wife Agnes for 35 years, and I'm very fortunate to have her full support, and she's in attendance tonight also in the back there. And we raised our family here. Now we're helping to raise our grandson here. And Rancho Cucamonga, as was said earlier by so many people, it's a wonderful city to raise a family in. Over the years, we've had careful planning and development here, but like so many other people, I feel that lately we're getting away from that, and we're headed in the wrong direction. Now, something I didn't hear anybody address, and it's almost like the elephant in the room when you talk about the state of the city, is that like every city in California, the unfunded pension liability of public employees' retirement is a threat to our future finances. We're at the mercy of what happens with the employee retirement system as far as its management, and there has been mismanagement, particularly in its predictions about investment returns. And it costs cities it's been an ever-increasing amount each year for how much has to be given to cover our obligations, and that leaves less for our budget to spend on other services. Now, some changes have been made, but it's something that we're going to likely have to have more. I have a vision that the sagebrush that is Central Park, just outside here, will soon become a usable space for play and recreation. Then, if and when funding becomes available, we can add expensive facilities to it. Overall, Rancho Cucamonga is going to continue to be a desirable city to live in if we return to careful development and pay more attention to our residents' wishes and desires.
Thank you, Mr. Gibney.
Same question. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and it's truly a pleasure to be here with you, and thank you for being here this evening. And once again, every 2 years the Chamber does this program, and I can't thank the Chamber and the business community enough. My name is Dennis Michael. I've been the mayor for this city since 2010. I've spent 42 years serving this community with distinction. First in this fire department after serving in the military, and then fire chief for 19 years prior to my election to city council in 2004. My public-spirited work has always been motivated by civic duty, passion, pride, and the love of this city where I was born and raised my entire life. The city is doing well, contrary to what others have said, but we can always do better. We need to continue prudent budgeting to make sure that we are able to replace and maintain our aging infrastructure. We need to work on attainable housing for all income levels if possible, and have a diversity of housing types, and preserve the quality of our single-family neighborhoods throughout the city. We need to continue to enhance public safety with more substations and staffing, high-quality open spaces, strong community awareness, strong community services and partnerships with local schools, businesses, faith-based organizations, and nonprofit organizations. Just last night, the City Council unanimously approved 2 more deputy sheriffs. One to maintain a deputy at every one of our high schools. Our 4 high schools will have a full-time deputy, and another to deal with our homeless situation. That is a commitment to public safety in this community. So I thank you for the opportunity. I would like to just say we have a plan for Central Park. We have an entire master plan, and without funds available, we will phase it in over time. And if we can get money through grants and other aspects, we will certainly do so. Thank you very much.
first and foremost, I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this wonderful event. And I want to let you all know that I've specifically and strategically spent the last decade of my life studying political leadership from the best political leaders in all the world. I'm currently a PhD student studying political leadership and organizational consulting. I earned my master's in public administration. I earned my bachelor's in communication with an emphasis in rhetoric and leadership. I spent 2 semesters in Washington, D.C., where I spent time at various Senate hearing meetings and interviewing congressmen and senators. I've extensively studied public sector financial aid, transportation, and urban planning. I have a deep passion for public service, and I want to serve you all. As your mayor, I feel I will do the best job to lead this city, and I care deeply and passionately about doing the best job I can. For our city, we have certain concerns, and those concerns are about having a balanced budget and taking care of our finances as best we can. I want to make sure that for our city that we are taking care of our own people, and I want to make sure that I want to tell you all that the state of our city is good, but it definitely can be better. Our residents, they should have the highest form of power in our city, and they currently are placed in that situation. But I want to make sure that they feel that way. As far as the vision for my city, I want to see that we have economic responsibility, strategic infrastructure, and bringing out the best in people. For economic responsibility, I think we should spend and save when we do our own family's finances. I think we should have strategic infrastructure, that we have future developments as low density and low rise developments. And I think we want to bring out the best in people, and I always want to hear your voices, and I want to empower you all as citizens. So thank you very much for your time. It's great to be here tonight.
Thank you, Chief. Now we'll move on to our second question, and this will begin with Mr. Michael. The question is, what do you consider to be the most important issue facing the community of Rancho Cucamonga that must be addressed during your term, if elected? And how do you intend to address or resolve that issue?
Thank you. Probably one of the most critical issues facing local government throughout the state of California is maintaining our local control and our own destiny in this city and every city throughout the state. The County of San Bernardino, especially the state of California, keeps chipping away at our ability to decide how we are going to develop our community. There is a new piece of legislation that requires cities that aren't building enough apartments or housing that they will be able to build by that developer going straight to the state and not even holding a public hearing where you all get to have a choice in that decision. So local control is critically important. Maintaining and managing our growth very carefully is also critically important. I understand the frustrations with higher density development, but there's some reasons why that was in our general plan in 2010. But we do need to make sure that we continue to respect people's property rights. My father was a citrus rancher. I used to drive a tractor tilling the dirt, and he had the right to sell his property to whomever he wanted to as long as it was maintained in the zoning. So I would just say that enhancing our business community, they're the backbone of the city. Our small businesses throughout this nation are the most critical component of success in our nation. We need to continue to ensure that new growth never is a burden on the existing taxpayers. We need to make sure that new growth always pays its way and even increases the amount of revenue, so we never have to worry about going to the taxpayers for some kind of funding necessary. New growth is very, very important, and I can tell you there's not been a new development lately that has been developed unless it was a positive cash flow to the city of Rancho Cucamonga's revenue stream. Thank you.
What do you consider to be the most important issue facing the community of Rancho Cucamonga that must be addressed during your term if elected, and how do you intend to address or resolve that issue? Mr. Rudy.
Thank you very much. Great question. Well, the most important issue to address in our city is that of development. When we think about development, we also have to take into consideration revenue. Our largest stream of revenue is from sales tax in our city. After Victoria Gardens opened, our revenue increased by 43%. So I think if we do not have that, then we're going to have to put a tax on our residents, and I don't think our residents want to pay any more new taxes. So with that in mind, the question is, how do we develop and how can we keep land untouched when possible? We have implemented many developments in our city which have been high density, high rise, which many of our residents have voiced their disapproval. Some of these developments include the annexation of Los Osos and also off Haven and 26 at Foothill and Hermosa. Our citizens have asked for a classic suburban city, and we must honor their voice. Well, to address and to resolve that issue, we want to do that through communication and strategic planning. We cannot change current projects. However, we can change the future developments. People feel like they are not being heard. For concrete change, I want to create an online forum where an official Facebook group, an app, or a web page monitored by the city where residents can voice their opinions and vote on issues of interest in their planning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Gibney.
Well, there are so many issues, but by far the number one issue that people have brought to me over the last several months is the overdevelopment of the city and the type of developments that are being done. And they're concerned that it's changing the very character of our city. Overdevelopment will lead to even more traffic, congestion, increased population density, will bring increased crime rates. And what we're seeing now are high-density, stack and pack apartments, supposedly to supply housing for all income levels, but they're being billed as luxury apartments. Now, to resolve this issue, some people say it can't be done, but it's really not too difficult. We need to update our general plan with a healthy dose of public input, and then we maintain the general plan and development codes, and don't change them for every project proposal that comes along. We need to get our property crimes in check, because right now we are a target for thefts, burglaries, and auto thefts. We need to get our city council as a whole in touch with residents. While stressing the importance of local control in the annexation project, the city has lost sight of the fact that local control at its very heart has to do with the wishes and desires of the residents of the city. And they're not being heard. We've heard it repeatedly tonight from different candidates that as they walk the street, as they walk their precincts, they're hearing this from people repeatedly. And I don't think we need to have a vote to determine whether or not we annex. The whole issue is whether or not we're going to, or how it's going to be zoned. We need to finally put a limit on local campaign contributions also, just as has been so wisely done with our county, state, and national elections.
Thank you. The next question will shift to the needs of the business community, and we'll begin with Mr. Reed. The question is, what do you perceive to be the top challenge facing the business community in Rancho Cucamonga, and how do your skills, experience, and background prepare you to successfully help address that challenge? Mr. Reed.
Certainly. I think the top challenge facing our businesses right now is a majority of our city has been built out, and there currently is only so much land to be built upon and reserved as green space in our city. So with that, we need strategic decision making. My experience prepares me to address this challenge. I have served on the Land Use and Planning Committee in Delray, California, where I oversaw what new developments fit within the character of our city. For some strategies for our businesses to overcome this, we could help create incentive, innovative ways for businesses to have facelifts of previous older complexes that perhaps need attention to already utilize the businesses we have in place to create more revenue. And also, we can create complementary businesses and put them side by side to promote better business. Lastly, why I decided to run is there was a new urgent care being put in at the Haven Village, which is already overcrowded. And I go there all the time and I think to myself, where are these people going to park? Our sick and our injured people. They don't need another hurdle in their life to try to find a parking spot. So I think with that, we need strategic decision making. And when the private sector thrives, the public sector prospers.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Mr. Gibney.
Well, all of my career, I've been faced with finding solutions to different challenges of all types. As an attorney and as a police officer. In fact, the core of legal training really is about problem solving. To correctly identify the problem, its root causes, the issues involved, analyze it and find solutions to the problems. And that applies to whatever the challenge might be. Now, the number one challenge facing the business community in Rancho Cucamonga and throughout California is out there looming on the horizon. A ballot measure has already been approved for 2020 that will remove Property 13 property tax protections from commercial and industrial property. Now, if that were to pass, the business expenses would rise tremendously, and with it will come rises to consumer costs. Now, the challenge here in Rancho Cucamonga is that we have a tax and spend mayor and city council. Now, they'll tout not raising taxes, but what they do is approve and support the taxes of other government entities that cover our jurisdiction. Our mayor and city council supported the passage of SB1, the gas tax, or I should say the new gas tax, which is the biggest tax increase to individuals, families, and businesses in a long time, especially businesses that have any use of vehicles or trucks. And we didn't even get to vote on it. I support the repeal of the additional gas tax, or the yes vote on Prop 6, and I'm against Prop 13 protections being stripped away from businesses or residences for that matter.
You know, we need to continue to maintain our relevance in this region and in this city. We are leading the way in Rancho Cucamonga for many other cities that respect what's going on in Rancho Cucamonga, not only in this region, but statewide and even nationally. So we need to make sure that we're continuing to build our younger generation, to allow them to find housing that's attainable for them, shopping and services that are desirable for all income levels and all age groups. And if we do anything like closing the door to build out this city, our city will not be as relevant as it is today. We are a thriving community. We are a community, and we talk about hearing people. If you go out and ask positive questions to people, you will find that Rancho Cucamonga residents love living in the city of Rancho Cucamonga. Do we have problems? Yes. Are we tackling those problems? Yes. Is your city council accountable to the residents of this city, and do they listen to them? Absolutely. I know there's people running for office. This is a critical time for change in this city. We're going to be moving to council districts for the first time ever. Prior to this, we were elected at large by all of the residents of the city. You need a leader that's going to be able, that has worked in cooperation and collaboration with many different agencies to make sure that our city remains relevant and that our city governs with an interest of the entire community and not one district versus another. My history in this city speaks for itself. I have been a leader not only at the state level, but also the county level. As president of the California League of Cities and as president of our Transportation Authority in San Bernardino County. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens because people believe in not only me, but they believe in the leadership of this council. And I understand we have people that are going to be brand new council members, 2 of them. But we need to continue to grow this city. Thank you.
Now our final question for our mayoral candidates, and this one will begin with Mr. Gibbon again. If elected, how will you help to preserve and enhance the quality of life for the residents of Rancho Cucamonga? Mr. Gibbon.
Well, there's so many things to work on. We'll get back to beautiful parks and landscape areas that we were once known for. We need to work on space for youth sports. So there's many things that can be worked on that you might be thinking of, but when I think of someone who's in the government, I think the number one thing that someone can do is to make our government user-friendly, not adversarial. Our residents who participate in workshops to give their opinions and preferences shouldn't be accused of being biased. When they ask for the mayor's position on an important issue, the city manager shouldn't prevent him from answering or engaging with the public. We need real transparency, not just a buzzword. When the city spends millions of dollars for an urban planning firm to complete studies and reports, and residents want to see those reports, They should be able to see them, not be denied public records requests. Mostly, we need a change in direction. And change starts at the top. As mayor, I want to be accessible to listen to your thoughts and concerns. I will bring strong, independent leadership to the office of mayor. My platform is described in more detail on my website, markgivity.com, and on my Facebook page, Mark Givity for Mayor. I'm asking for your vote and your support on November 6th. And I thank the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event and for all of you for coming this evening. Thank you.
Probably the quality of life in this city probably is one of its roots is a thriving, growing business sector. Ladies and gentlemen, the funds that are generated from our hotels, our shopping center at Victoria Gardens, our shopping centers throughout the city, be it Terra Vista, our business sector, our corporate offices along Haven Avenue and elsewhere, are critical and fund critical services such as our police services, such as award-winning libraries, 2 of them, Cultural Arts Center at Victoria Gardens, our Central Park where we're at right now, and our Senior Center, and many, many other aspects of our city finances. One of those is healthy Rancho Cucamonga, healthy mind, healthy body, healthy earth. If people would engage in this city and be understanding rather than sit up here and say things that aren't really true, I can tell you this city is a leader in dealing with mental health issues and partnerships with the Chaffee Union High School District and our elementary school districts. And we do that because we care and we're a compassionate community. A community means the last 5 letters is unity. And this city needs to come together as one city, and we need to work together to find solutions. There are traffic congestion problems, but I would venture to say that most business people in this city would not like it if there was no traffic. They want to be able to flourish as a business community, and as a result, we flourish as a community, and the taxpayers don't have to fund it. I just have to say that our city and our schools, we're dealing with strategic partnerships. We want to continue to be a world-class community where everybody wants to live, raise a family, work, and thrive. Our city has received 2 very distinctive recognitions just recently. One last year as the 2nd safest city in the state of California, and now the 7th best place to raise a family in the state of California. It doesn't happen by accident, it happens, and it doesn't happen by choice. I ask for your vote to continue leading this city into the future. Thank you.
And finally, Mr. Rubin.
Thank you very much. It's been an honor to be here tonight. And when I think about enhancing and preserving the quality of life here in Rancho Cucamonga, I think of the words of Aristotle. He said, when people come together in cities in order to live, but they remain together in order to live the good life. Well, I want to help preserve that good life here in Rancho Cucamonga. And I want to do that by helping take care of our city's finances. I have extensively studied public sector financial management. I had an opportunity to ask our city manager, John Gillison, about our most recent fiscal year budget. And I asked him, I said, how come in our revenue we're $78 million, but our expenditures are around $82 million? How come we're still listed as being in the positive? And he said, well, actually, some of those expenditures are set aside from previous years, so we're actually still operating in the positive that was just set aside previously. So that being said, is I care about financial responsibility. I care about holding our government accountable where our dollars are going. That means a great deal to me. And how that improves your quality of life is I want to make sure our budget is tight so we're not adding any more new taxes to any of you citizens. We want to make sure that you can preserve and take care of yourselves and your own families. I am deeply passionate about public finance, and I will lead this city with fiscally conservative mindset. It is my belief that in life, everyone has a role to play, and I believe my role is to use my last decade-long experience in political training to help lead this city as mayor of Rancho Cucamonga as the best I can. And I don't plan to lead you all as mayor and constituent. I plan to lead side by side, together, as citizens of Rancho Cucamonga. Thank you very much. Good night, everybody.
We need one final round of applause to all of them. So on behalf of the Rancho Cucamonga Chamber of Commerce, I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. This concludes the forum, but it doesn't conclude the dialogue, so I encourage you to continue to to have that dialogue until November 6th, and thank everybody for being here tonight.